Good day, Father Dong. This is my midterm requirement for this course, the relationship between faith and reason. This presentation contains the summary of the first three chapters of the encyclical Fides et Ratio, an encyclical written by late Saint Pope John Paul II. In the presentation, the summary would be as follows. First, I begin with the introduction, then followed by first chapter, second, and then third chapter respectively. But before the introduction, the Holy Father emphasizes the significance of faith and reason. Accordingly, faith and reason are like two wings on which the human spirit rises to the contemplation of truth. And God has placed in the human heart the desire to know the truth, to know Himself, so that by loving and knowing God, by loving and knowing Him, men and women may come to the fullness of the truth about themselves. In the introduction, Know Thyself, the Holy Father gives a brief account of philosophy and the universal human drive to philosophize. The Holy Father makes it clear from the beginning that at the present, the main threat to genuine philosophical inquiry is the excessive pessimism about the power of natural reason. Now, in the first chapter, the revelation of God's wisdom, the Holy Father begins with the primacy of revelation. In this section, it is apparent that reason needs faith, that faith and reason are both necessary in knowing the truth. The primacy of God's revelation in the person of Jesus Christ is the source of salvific truths. This becomes the most fitting context for the inquiries of reason. Accordingly, natural reason can discover some salvific truths, but not the core of Christ's mission. So we need faith, but again, faith does not by itself give a deep understanding of Christ's mission. The mystery remains. So it should be kept in mind that revelation remains charged with mystery. It is true that Jesus, with his entire life, revealed the countenance of the Father, for he came to teach the secrets of things of God. But our vision of the face of God is always fragmentary and impaired by the limits of our understanding. And faith, as an obedient response to God, alone makes it possible to penetrate the mystery in a way that allows us to understand it coherently. Now, in the second chapter, Credo et Intellegam, or I believe so that I can understand, the Holy Father inquires into the nature or necessity for faith and begins to depict the necessity for well-ordered intellectual inquiry, that is, philosophical and scientific. This section is being supported by the passages from the sacred scriptures. In the wisdom literature, we found the knowledge conferred by faith, or cognitio fidei, and the knowledge conferred by reason, or scientia rationis. What is distinctive in the biblical text is the conviction that there is a profound and indissoluble unity between faith, or between knowledge of reason and knowledge of faith. So, faith intervenes not to abolish reason's autonomy, nor to reduce its scope for action, but solely to bring the human beings to understand that in this kind of events, it is the God of Israel who acts. Thus, the world and the events of history cannot be understood in depth without professing faith in the God who is at work in them. And if human beings with their intelligence fail to recognize God as creator of all, it is not because they lack the means to do so, but because their free will and sinfulness has placed an impediment in the way. So we see here that the church has an interest in discouraging both excessive optimism and excessive pessimism about the potential of human reason. Now, let me proceed to the importance of acquiring wisdom. In acquiring wisdom, we acquire understanding. In the first chapter of his letter to the Romans, Saint Paul helps us to appreciate better the insight of the wisdom literature's reflection. Developing a philosophical argument in popular language, Saint Paul declares a profound truth. Through all that is created, the eye of the mind can come to know God. Through the medium of creatures, God steers in reason and intuition of his power and divinity. This is to concede to human reason a capacity which seems almost to surpass its natural limitation. That is why the Christian's relationship to philosophy requires a thoroughgoing discernment. In the New Testament, especially in the letters of St. Paul, one thing emerges with great clarity: the opposition of the wisdom of this world and the wisdom of God revealed in Jesus Christ. The wisdom of the cross, therefore, breaks free of all cultural limitations. In the wisdom of the cross, we see not only the border between faith and reason, but also, most importantly, the space where the two may meet. Now, the third chapter is Intellego ut Credam. After the I believe in order to understand, I understand in order to believe follows, or Intellego ut Credam. In this chapter, the Holy Father investigates natural reason in general as a preparation for the good news, in preparation for the truth. The search for the ultimate truth is deeply rooted in us, that it is unthinkable that it should be useless, that at any rate, ignoring it would cast our existence into jeopardy. Also, in this chapter, we find different phases of human truths. First, the truths that depend upon the immediate evidence. Second, the truths of philosophy and religion. And third, the truth revealed by Jesus Christ, the mysteries of faith. Here, the unity of truth is a fundamental principle of human reasoning, as the principle of non-contradiction makes clear. Revelation renders this unity certain, showing that the God of creation is also the God of salvation history. And the fundamental conclusion is that what the human reason seeks without knowing it can be found only through Jesus Christ. What is revealed in him is the full truth of everything which created in him and through him which therefore finds fulfillment in Him. So that's all. That's how I summarize the first three chapters of the encyclical Fides et Ratio, written by late Saint Pope John Paul II. Thank you so much, Father, and may God bless you always. God bless.